You ever had one of those days, those days where it feels like the future is like being written right before your eyes?
Absolutely.
September 16th, 2024 was definitely one of those days for AI.
It was a whirlwind, that's for sure. A whirlwind of advancements.
Yeah, and the remarkable thing is it wasn't just like baby steps,
Yeah.
We're talking potential huge GE leaps forward, paradigm shifts, really, and across multiple areas of AI, all at the same time.
All on the same day. It's crazy.
Okay, so we're talking about AI that can build entire virtual worlds from scratch. AI that might actually be smarter than humans.
Potentially, yeah.
We even had some major tech titans like scrambling for resources.
Yeah. A little bit of drama
It's
there.
a lot to unpack today, so
Yeah, it is.
let's jump right in. And I think the most eye-catching headline has got to be about Tencent, the company behind some of the biggest games out there.
Of course.
They just unveiled something called Game Geno.
Yeah, Game Geno. And it's fascinating. It's not just creating levels or characters. This AI can generate entire open world game environments from nothing.
So it's like giving someone a blank canvas
Exactly.
and being like,
Oh.
okay, paint me a sprawl of fantasy world just from you describing it.
Just from a text prompt.
So wild.
It is pretty wild.
So like you could type, create a futuristic city with flying cars and towering skyscrapers, and boom, the AI just builds it ready for you to explore.
It does. And it makes you think, right? Like in the future, anyone could become a game creator.
It's like democratizing.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't
Wow.
even need to know how to code. It's bigger than games, right?
Oh, for sure.
Architects, right? Using AI to generate and test city plans before they even lay the first brick. Or imagine like training surgeons using these realistic AI-built simulations, no risk to patients.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
The possibilities, they're huge.
it really feels like AI is stepping into this role of a creator in a way we haven't really seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting.
But then things get even more interesting, I think, when you look at OpenAI's new model O1. This thing reportedly scored 120 on a Mensa IQ test.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is above the average human IQ.
Right. So that's a pretty big deal.
It is. Now, while IQ tests are one way to measure intelligence, they don't always tell the whole story, especially when it comes to AI.
Right, because it's not about, like, innate intelligence the way we think about it with humans.
Exactly. AI learns very differently than humans do.
It's about processing information and identifying patterns on a massive, massive scale.
Yeah, much faster than we can. But what's interesting with O1 is the use of this thing called chain of thought prompting.
Okay, so break that down for me. Chain of thought, what is that?
Okay, so imagine, instead of just giving the AI one prompt, we feed it a series of interconnected thoughts, right? It's like guiding it through a problem, step by step.
So it's not just spitting out an answer based on, just analyzing data.
Exactly.
It's actually being encouraged to think through the problem, kind of like how we solve problems.
Exactly. Break it down into smaller steps.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting.
Yes, it does.
Because we have this advancement in AI reasoning with O1, and then we have Tencent's Game Geno, which is like building these crazy, intricate virtual worlds.
Right. What happens when you put those together?
Yeah, what happens when you have AI that can not only build a world from a text prompt, but can also start making decisions and solving problems within that world?
Yeah, it makes you think, what are the limits here?
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing.
But we are getting a little ahead of ourselves because there's another player that kind of entered the scene that same day. And this is World Labs, founded by Fei Li.
Oh, yeah, Fei Li, she's a real pioneer in the AI world. And she's been vocal about this need for AI that can, understand the real world, the physical world.
Well, not just the digital world.
Exactly. Interact with it, not just, look at it through a screen. And that's what World Labs is all about. They're developing something called large world models.
Okay, large world models. That sounds like something straight out of like a sci-fi movie. What exactly are we talking about here?
It does sound pretty futuristic, right? But it actually addresses a very real limitation of AI right now, which is spatial reasoning.
Okay, what does that mean? Spatial reasoning.
So AI right now can recognize objects in images, right?
Right.
It can even navigate virtual environments, but it doesn't really understand how things exist in space the way we do.
So like it could identify a chair in a room, but
it wouldn't necessarily get how that chair fits into the whole layout of the room, how people move around it, or how the lighting affects. You know how it looks.
okay, so it's not just seeing, it's understanding.
Exactly. And that's what these large world models are trying to do.
So they would enable AI to what? Like actually perceive the physical world more like we do.
Need more nuance, yep. But not just perceive, but also reason.
Reason.
Yeah. Predict how objects will interact, even manipulate objects in those virtual spaces.
Okay, so we're talking about a huge leap forward here, from just recognizing a chair to actually understanding how it exists in space and how to, like, move it or use it.
Exactly. Think about the possibilities.
Okay, so we've got AI potentially designing these virtual worlds, maybe even solving complex problems, understanding the physical world. But that makes me think, what about the actual hardware? Because all of this requires some serious processing power, right?
It does, a lot of it. And that's actually something that even the tech giants are, starting to feel. Yeah, a lot of processing power. And we actually caught a glimpse of just how crucial that hardware is on September 16th.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Well, word got out that Elon Musk
Okay.
and Larry Ellison.
Wow. Two of the biggest names in tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were reportedly putting in these almost desperate requests to Nvidia for more AI chips.
It's like the AI gold rush, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's scrambling to get the picks and shovels, which in this case are those super powerful GPUs.
Yeah, and it's not just about having enough. It's about having the best, the most powerful chips. That's the key.
Because the demand is just, like, skyrocketing.
Sure. Oh, it's through the roof. And it's only going to get crazier as these AI models get more and more sophisticated. They need exponentially more power, just to run, to train.
So Nvidia, the company that actually makes a lot of these specialized AI chips, they're in the driver's seat right now.
Big time.
Which, I mean, makes you wonder, who really controls the future of AI? Is it the companies building these crazy advanced models, or is it the companies that actually control the hardware that makes it all possible?
It's a good question.
That's a huge question, and it's one we're going to have to figure out sooner than later.
For sure. But, while all that's going on in the silicon world, these AI advancements are already playing out in the real world.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. In a big way.
One stat that really blew my mind was about Waymo, Google's self-driving car company. They're now giving 100,000 rides a week. 100,000.
Per week.
That is a huge milestone. But it also makes you think, right, about the future of work.
Because if we assume even like an average of 2 rides per hour, that's over 1,000 taxi drivers, potentially, whose jobs have been, impacted.
Yeah, and that's just one company in one industry.
Right. This is like the tip of the iceberg when we talk about AI and automation. And it brings up that question, right? Are we headed towards a future where AI takes all of the jobs?
It's $1 million question, isn't it? And I don't think it's going to be a simple answer. I mean, yeah, some jobs, they're going to be automated. History tells us that. But new ones always pop up.
Ones we probably can't even imagine right now.
Exactly.
So it's not really about like this fear-mongering about robots taking over.
Right.
It's about making sure we're ready, adaptable.
Yeah.
That we're preparing ourselves, in future generations for whatever this new job market looks like.
Absolutely. We need adaptable education systems, opportunities for people to learn new skills throughout their lives, and maybe even rethink how we support people, those safety nets, if their jobs are disrupted.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
It is. But I think amidst all the talk about job displacement, it's important to remember what else AI can do. It can help us tackle some really big problems.
Oh, for sure. And I think a perfect example of that, with the wildfires we've been seeing all over the place lately on September 16th, there was some really interesting news about how AI is being used to fight them.
Yeah, like these AI-powered drone swarms.
Drones, okay.
Yes, swarms of them. And they can all work together autonomously to find and put out fires with incredible accuracy.
Okay, so they can, get to those hard-to-reach areas.
Exactly. Coordinate, on the fly, literally. And even adapt to, changing conditions, wind shifts, that sort of thing.
Wow. That's like having a hyper-efficient, super-coordinated firefighting force. You can just, deploy at a moment's notice.
Exactly. And they wouldn't get tired. They wouldn't, need to stop. It's incredible. And it really shows you how AI can be, a force for good, using its analytical power, its problem-solving abilities to protect lives, protect our planet.
And it's not just about the drones themselves. I mean, the AI is doing the heavy lifting here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Analyzing all this data, weather patterns, real-time images. And it's making these decisions, guiding the drones, all in real time.
Split-second decisions. It's amazing.
It's like augmenting our own ability.
Exactly. We can respond to these emergencies faster, more effectively, potentially save more lives, and it doesn't stop there, right?
Oh, no. What else?
The same day, Google announced a big investment, an AI-powered satellite constellation
Okay, in space?
in space specifically designed to detect wildfires early.
So we've got these, like, AI eyes in the sky
It's exactly
scanning for fires,
right.
and we've got these drone swarms ready to, like, swoop in and fight them. It really does feel like a new era of disaster response.
It does, doesn't it? And it really highlights something important. I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that these advancements on September 16th, they weren't just about AI getting like a little bit smarter or a little bit faster.
Yeah,
It's that they're actually having a real tangible impact on our world, right now.
absolutely. I mean, it's everything from the games we play to the cities we live in to how we respond to these, like, huge global challenges.
Yeah.
AI is not some far-off thing anymore.
It's here.
It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie.
Here.
All right. Except it's really happening, and it's happening so fast.
It is. And it's not just the tech changing so quickly. It's that it's bringing up all these big questions,
Yes.
ethical questions, societal questions,
Yeah.
things we really need to figure out.
And speaking of big questions, there's one more thing from September 16th that we need to touch on. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and that crazy O1 model we were talking about, they made this interesting announcement.
Oh, right, about their structure. Yeah, it was a bit of a head scratcher, especially given their history. I mean, they started as a nonprofit, right?
Right.
And their whole thing was like making sure AI benefits everyone.
Develop it safely, responsibly, all that.
Right, exactly. Keep it out of the wrong hands. But then, ChatGPT explodes in popularity and suddenly they're offering paid subscriptions.
It's a tough line to walk, because they need money to fund the research and keep up with everyone else.
Totally.
But then it's like, how much does that compromise their mission, if they're
Yeah.
prioritizing profits?
Yeah, it's that balance, right?
Yeah.
Openness versus, staying afloat in a really cutthroat field. And I think this latest move, it really reflects that struggle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out for them and for AI as a whole.
For all of us, really.
It really feels like we're at this crossroads,
Yeah.
The decisions we make right now, the companies building this stuff, the government's trying to regulate it, even us, just choosing to use it. It's all going to shape where AI goes from here.
It's a fresher.
Right. But I think the advancements we talked about today, the video games, the self-driving cars, those wildfire fighting drones, it shows you how powerful this technology is.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But it comes with responsibility.
Big time.
We have to think about the ethics, the potential downsides.
Yeah.
What kind of world are we building with this stuff?
And we need everyone at the table for that conversation. People from all over the world, different backgrounds, different fields.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot today, but I want to leave everyone with one last thought.
Okay, shoot.
If AI can already create these, like, crazy, realistic virtual worlds, what happens when those worlds become so good, so immersive, that we'd rather spend time in them than in the real world?
Whoa, okay, that's a big one.
It's like blurring the lines between science fiction and, well, reality.
It makes you think about what's real, what's important.
Exactly. And that's something I think we all need to be thinking about. So thanks for joining us for this incredible and kind of mind-blowing deep dive. We'll keep exploring these questions and more in our upcoming episodes. But until then, stay curious and keep the conversation going.